A strong India-U.S. partnership can anchor peace, prosperity, and stability from Asia to Africa and from Indian Ocean to the Pacific.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's speech before the U.S. Congress marks a new chapter in India-U.S. relations. Hello, I'm Nathan King, filling in for Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. Just 3 years ago, diplomatic and economic relations between the US and India were strained at best. But under the leadership of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the two countries are entering an unprecedented era of cooperation. During a 3-day visit to Washington, D.C., Modi met with US President Barack Obama, delivered a speech before the houses of the US Congress, and announced agreements on energy, defense and trade. We begin our special coverage with CCTV's Rohi Ruttenberg. Rohi, thanks for joining us. This was Narendra Modi's 4th visit to the United States since assuming office in 2014. What do you think was accomplished?
Well, in his own words, this was really a new moment in U.S. relations, a sharp contrast away from this era of suspicion. Remember, Modi was once denied entry to the U.S. because of an obscure law. Now, here he was in Washington this week, emphasizing the common set of values between Americans and Indians, as he saw it. A close personal connection, he said, between the two societies, talking about all sorts of things, defense cooperation, specifically joint patrols in the Indian Ocean, better integration of the two navies, and a joint outlook on Afghanistan and global terrorism. A lot of progress, we understand, on that front. And also climate change, Modi seeking better access to renewable energy technology. I think he also made clear that he wanted to see India elevated to great power status and to position New Delhi as a counterweight to Beijing's growing influence in Asia. He met with leaders from the U.S.-India Business Council and delivered that message very loudly. He awarded Amazon's CEO, for example, with the prize, and in return, the e-commerce giant pledged to invest another $3 billion in India. These, of course, are all tangibles that Modi was able to take home with him. Nathan?
Rohi, in that speech before a joint session of Congress, Prime Minister Modi addressed freedom of navigation, which sometimes can be coded as sort of finger-pointing at China.
Indeed, and we should point out that India has resisted pointing that finger directly at China in either the South or East China Seas, and that's despite U.S. pressure coming from Washington. In fact, there was no reference to the South China Sea in any joint communique. Here's what Modi had to say.
India is already assuming her responsibilities in securing the Indian Ocean region. A strong India-U.S. partnership can anchor peace, prosperity, and stability from Asia to Africa and from Indian Ocean to the Pacific. It can also help ensure security of the sea lanes of commerce and freedom of navigation on seas.
I think these comments like these really reflect Indian resistance in getting involved in the South China Sea, and that's a sharp contrast to what we've seen from U.S. allies getting fully integrated, allies like Japan, Philippines, and Australia when it comes to this issue. Nathan?
Rohi, the United States is supporting India's efforts to become a part of this nuclear suppliers group, a group of countries that want to promote non-proliferation of weapons, work towards nuclear policy together. What does this membership mean for India?
Yeah, we're talking about a group of 48 nuclear trading nations. Essentially, they regulate nuclear trade, and membership confirms nuclear energy power's status. Now, the U.S. wants India to join, and it's heavily investing in India's nuclear power industry. In fact, 6 nuclear power stations are planned. Now, some countries in the group, including China, have concerns as India has not signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT. And because the 48-member group requires consensus, India's membership could block Pakistan's application to join. It's still uncertain, though, and India's membership will be considered at a meeting of the Nuclear Suppliers Group later this month. Nathan?
Rohi Ruttenberg, thank you very much. Well,